Nobody was supposed to hear this from Papoose. Not now. Not like this. And definitely not after weeks of silence that already had the internet on fire. Because when the rumors about Claressa's shield started spreading, fans expected denial or distance or at least damage control. What they got instead felt different. It felt delayed. It felt pressured. And to a lot of people watching closely, it felt calculated. For weeks, social media detectives were connecting dots that weren't supposed to connect. Old interviews, awkward pauses, deleted posts, subtle shade that didn't look accidental. And every hour Papoose stayed quiet, the theories grew darker. Then suddenly he spoke. No warning, no build-up, no PR rollout. Just a few words that instantly split the internet in half. Because while Papoose addressed some of the rumors, he avoided the one question fans were screaming the loudest. And in the world of celebrity scandals, what you don't say is often louder than what you do. Within minutes, timelines exploded. Supporters called it finally clearing the air. Critics called it too little, too late. And that's when one terrifying thought started spreading fast. What if this statement wasn't meant to end the rumors? What if it was meant to control the fallout? Because if this is Papoose finally speaking, the real question is, why now? And what is he still not telling us? To understand why Papoose finally speaking sent shockwaves through the internet, you have to understand just how carefully this silence was built, and how dangerous it became once it started cracking. For years, Papoose existed in a rare category in hip-hop culture. Not untouchable because he was loud, but untouchable because he was quiet, loyal, controlled. He was marketed as the man who stayed solid while everything else around him burned. No messy headlines. No public spirals. No chaotic interviews. Just discipline, bars, and a carefully protected image of stability. And that image mattered. Because in celebrity culture, perception is currency. Then enters Claressa Shields, a completely different kind of force. A champion who doesn't whisper. A woman who doesn't soften her edges to make people comfortable. Claressa built her reputation on confrontation, confidence, and public dominance. She wasn't shaped by industry politics. She fought her way through them. At first, their association felt unexpected but harmless. Industry insiders framed it as mutual respect. Two strong personalities. Two grinders. Two people who understood pressure. Fans tried to accept that narrative, but something never sat right. Because the timeline didn't feel organic. The appearances came too fast. The chemistry looked too rehearsed. And the explanations always felt prepared. Social media noticed before mainstream media did. It always does. Fans started pulling clips from old interviews where answers didn't line up with current statements. Body language was analyzed frame by frame. Long pauses became suspicious. Smiles looked forced. And suddenly, what was once support started feeling like positioning. Still, nobody said anything directly. And that's where the real tension began. Because silence can protect you, but it can also indict you. As rumors involving Claressa's shield started spreading, Papoose didn't jump out to deny them. He didn't laugh them off. He didn't shut them down aggressively. Instead, there were cryptic posts, vague captions about growth, peace, and not feeding negativity. The kind of language celebrities use when they're trying to buy time. Meanwhile, Claressa stayed visible, vocal, defensive, emotional at times. She didn't hide from the conversation. She leaned into it. And that contrast mattered. Fans started asking uncomfortable questions. Why does one person look calm while the other looks exposed? Why does one side sound rehearsed while the other sounds reactive? Why does silence feel strategic instead of accidental? Insider gossip pages began whispering about internal pressure, alleged disagreements behind the scenes, claims that the situation wasn't just personal, but reputational. According to these unnamed sources, there were conversations happening far away from the timeline. Conversations about branding, optics, damage control. And then there was the elephant in the room no one wanted to name. Timing. The rumors didn't exist in a vacuum. They surfaced during moments when visibility mattered most. Appearances overlapped. Interviews resurfaced. Old loyalty narratives suddenly felt fragile. Fans began asking if what they were watching was real connection, or a carefully managed storyline that went off script. Every day Papoose stayed quiet. The speculation intensified. Because when someone with a reputation for discipline refuses to speak, people assume one of two things. They're either innocent and above the noise, or they're calculating the least damaging way to respond. By the time Jaguar Wright's explosive live reignited the entire situation, the pressure was unbearable. This wasn't just gossip anymore. It was narrative warfare. And silence was no longer neutral. It was dangerous. Fans weren't just asking what happened. They were asking who benefits. Why did Claressa appear to be absorbing the emotional backlash while others remained insulated? Why did denials feel vague instead of precise? Why were certain questions never addressed directly? According to multiple fake insider sources, the situation had reached a breaking point long before Papoose spoke. They claim private conversations were happening about timing a response, not to tell the truth, but to control the damage, to slow the bleed, to redirect attention. And when Papoose finally broke his silence, it wasn't relief people felt. It was fear. Because after weeks of build-up, the expectation was clarity, finality, closure. Instead, fans got a statement that felt selective, strategic, carefully trimmed to address rumors that were survivable, while avoiding the ones that could collapse everything. And that's why this moment matters so much. This isn't just about rumors involving Claressa Shields. This is about image versus reality, control versus exposure. And what happens when a narrative built on silence finally cracks under pressure? Because now that Papoose has spoken, the internet isn't calmer. It's more suspicious than ever. And the next phase of this story doesn't revolve around what he said. It revolves around what he didn't. The moment Papoose finally broke his silence, everything changed. For weeks, social media had been buzzing nonstop with rumors linking Papoose and Claressa Shields in ways that fans never expected. What started as a few speculative tweets quickly spiraled into viral threads, reaction videos, and heated debates across Instagram, X, and TikTok. Every move they made was being dissected. Every like, every comment, every public appearance was turned into proof by online detectives who were convinced there was more going on behind the scenes. At the center of the storm was one question fans couldn't let go of. Why was Papoose suddenly being mentioned alongside Claressa Shields at all? Neither of them had confirmed anything. No interviews. No clear statements. Just silence. And in today's internet culture, silence only makes rumors louder. Fans began pulling up old clips of Claressa Shields praising Papoose in past interviews, calling him supportive, intelligent, and solid. On their own, the comments seemed harmless. But once rumors started spreading, those same clips were reframed as signs. TikTok edits slowed them down. Captions suggested hidden meanings. Comment sections exploded with theories, some supportive, others openly hostile. Meanwhile, Papoose stayed quiet, and that quiet became fuel. People began accusing him of avoiding the situation on purpose. Some fans said he was protecting someone. Others claimed he was waiting for the right moment to control the narrative. And then there were those who believed the rumors were being exaggerated beyond recognition, driven purely by clout-chasing pages hungry for engagement. The pressure kept building. Then came the live stream moment that changed everything. During what was supposed to be a casual appearance, Papoose was asked directly about the rumors involving Claressa Shields. The chat went wild instantly. Thousands of comments flooded in, demanding answers. For a brief moment, it looked like he might dodge the question again. Instead, he paused. That pause alone sent fans into a frenzy. When Papoose finally spoke, his tone was calm, but serious. He made it clear that the internet had taken fragments of unrelated moments and stitched them together into a narrative that didn't reflect reality. He emphasized that respect doesn't equal romance, and support doesn't automatically mean something inappropriate is happening. But here's where things took a turn. Instead of completely shutting everything down, Papoose added one sentence that sent shockwaves through the fanbase. He acknowledged that the situation had been misunderstood, but also admitted that certain boundaries should have been clearer from the start. That single line split the internet in half. Supporters immediately jumped in, saying he was being mature and accountable, recognizing how public perception works. They praised him for not attacking Claressa Shields or shifting blame. To them, his response showed growth and awareness. But critics heard something else entirely. They latched onto the word boundaries. Suddenly, timelines were flooded with posts asking, boundaries with who? And why would boundaries need to be clarified if nothing was happening? Reaction channels went live within minutes, replaying the clip over and over, analyzing his facial expressions, his pauses, and even the way his voice slightly changed during that sentence. Meanwhile, Claressa Shields became a trending topic again, this time without saying a word. Fans began debating whether she was being unfairly dragged into a situation she never created, or whether her silence was strategic. Some defended her fiercely, calling out the double standards placed on women in the spotlight. Others accused her of letting the rumors grow by not addressing them head-on. The internet picked sides fast. Hashtags supporting both Papoose and Claressa Shields trended simultaneously, while others accused blogs of manufacturing drama for clicks. What should have been a simple clarification turned into a full-blown online war, with fans arguing not just about the rumor, but about loyalty, image, and responsibility in the public eye. And just when it seemed like things might cool down, a new twist emerged. Screenshots began circulating, old comments, archived likes, and vague captions that people claimed added context to the situation. None of it proved anything concrete, but it was enough to reignite speculation and keep the controversy alive. At that point, one thing was clear. Papoose speaking out didn't end the rumors. It transformed them. Instead of asking whether the situation was real, fans were now asking what part of the story they weren't being told. And with Claressa Shields still silent, the tension only grew stronger, setting the stage for an even bigger reaction that nobody saw coming next. What happened next is where the situation stopped being just internet chatter and turned into something much bigger. As debates raged online, several major gossip pages dropped what they called a timeline breakdown of events involving Papoose and Claressa Shields. The posts didn't accuse anyone directly, but they lined things up in a way that instantly reignited suspicion. Dates of public appearances, overlapping events, old social media interactions that had never mattered before, suddenly framed as clues. Fans felt like they were being handed pieces of a puzzle. Reaction channels exploded overnight. Creators paused videos mid-sentence, zoomed in on screenshots, and replayed Papoose's earlier statement, especially that moment where he mentioned boundaries. That word was now everywhere. Comment sections filled with people saying the same thing. That line changed everything. Then came the reveal that nobody expected. A previously unknown source, described by blogs as someone close to the situation, allegedly shared private context about how the rumors first started. According to this source, the issue wasn't about a secret relationship, but about how certain interactions were perceived publicly versus how they were intended privately. That distinction mattered, but not the way people hoped. The source claimed that once fans began speculating, neither side moved fast enough to shut it down. Instead, the silence allowed assumptions to grow, and what started as harmless support became something much harder to control. The shocking part wasn't romance. It was how fast a narrative can spiral when no one steps in early. But the internet wasn't done. Shortly after that story broke, a resurfaced clip began circulating again, this time edited differently, slowed down, and paired with dramatic captions. Viewers were told to watch closely, to listen carefully. The comments insisted there was an unspoken moment people had missed before. Whether that was real or just clever editing didn't matter anymore. The damage was already done. Fans started questioning motives instead of facts. Some accused blogs of intentionally twisting moments to keep traffic flowing. Others argued that public figures have to be more careful because perception becomes reality online. Meanwhile, supporters of Claressa Shields pushed back hard, saying she was being dragged into a situation she never asked for and punished simply for being mentioned. And then came the biggest shock of all. A new wave of reactions suggested that Papoose's statement may not have been his final word. Several insiders hinted that more clarification might come, especially as the conversation began affecting reputations beyond social media. That possibility alone sent fans into a frenzy. Because if more details were coming, it meant the full story still hadn't been told. What started as rumors had now become a full-scale public debate about respect, perception, and how quickly narratives can turn against anyone, even without proof. And with both names still trending, the pressure wasn't easing, it was tightening. At this point, one thing was undeniable. This situation was no longer about what actually happened, it was about what people believed happened, and who they chose to stand with. And with the internet demanding answers, the next move could change everything. By the time the sun came up the next morning, this situation had officially escaped the internet and entered the culture. Major gossip blogs were no longer just reposting clips. They were running headlines. Morning podcasts opened with the topic. Reaction videos stacked up so fast that even casual fans couldn't avoid it. Everywhere people looked, the same question kept popping up. Why did this get so big so fast? And that's when the sides formed. On one side, fans of Papoose flooded comment sections insisting his words had been twisted beyond recognition. They argued he spoke calmly, clearly, and with intention, saying the internet wanted drama more than truth. Many pointed out how he never named anyone directly, never disrespected anyone, and never fed into the speculation the way blogs wanted him to. But on the other side, critics weren't buying it. They claimed silence can be louder than denial, that choosing words carefully isn't the same as clearing the air, and that once rumors reach this level, anything less than total transparency feels suspicious. The phrase half-truth energy began trending in fan spaces, fueling even more heated debates. Then came the celebrity reactions. One industry insider posted a cryptic tweet that read, "Fame doesn't protect you from narratives. It feeds them." No names were mentioned, but fans instantly connected the dots. Another public figure liked a post criticizing how female athletes are constantly dragged into drama that has nothing to do with their careers. That single, sent supporters of Claressa Shields into overdrive, claiming she was being unfairly targeted simply because of proximity and speculation. And that's when things turned personal. Fans began digging into old interviews, resurfacing moments that had never raised eyebrows before. Innocent comments were reframed. Casual praise was reinterpreted. Even professional respect was suddenly being questioned, dissected, and judged under the harshest lens imaginable. Media outlets jumped in next. One entertainment site claimed this situation highlighted a growing problem with viral rumor culture, while another suggested that public figures now live under constant surveillance, where anything can become a storyline overnight. Panels debated whether this was about responsibility or exploitation. But the most explosive reaction came from fans themselves. Comment sections turned into war zones. People accused each other of lying, projecting, and defending the indefensible. Some demanded receipts. Others demanded apologies, without even agreeing on who should apologize. And then a new headline dropped. A blog claimed the controversy was beginning to affect behind-the-scenes opportunities, with brands watching closely and waiting to see how things played out before making decisions. No proof was offered, but the implication alone raised the stakes dramatically. Because now, this wasn't just about rumors. It was about reputations, careers, public trust. And as the pressure mounted, one uncomfortable truth became impossible to ignore. Once the internet decides a story matters, it doesn't stop asking questions. It demands answers. And with both names still trending, and the noise getting louder by the hour, the biggest question wasn't what happened anymore. It was who would speak next and what would happen when they did. Just when everyone thought the story had reached its peak, something unexpected happened. Something that instantly changed the tone of the entire conversation. Late one night, while timelines were still flooded with arguments and speculation, fans noticed a subtle but shocking shift. Old posts disappeared. Likes were quietly removed. A previously visible interaction was suddenly gone. No announcement. No explanation. Just gone. And the internet caught it immediately. Screenshots began circulating with captions like, "Why delete this now?" And this timing is not accidental. People started asking whether the silence wasn't about avoiding drama anymore, but about controlling damage. Theories exploded faster than anyone could keep up with them. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. A respected media insider hinted, without naming names, that a private conversation had already taken place behind the scenes. According to this source, the situation had reached a point where public clarification might do more harm than good. That suggestion alone sent shockwaves through fan communities. Because if that was true, it meant there was more to the story than anyone had been told. Some fans interpreted this as proof that the rumors had crossed a line. Others believed it confirmed that something real had been misunderstood and blown out of proportion. Either way, trust fractured instantly. Every previous statement was now being re-evaluated under a new lens. Then, just hours later, a final clue appeared. A short, carefully worded message surfaced from someone connected to the situation. It didn't deny anything. It didn't confirm anything. It simply said that context matters and not everything belongs to the public. That sentence hit harder than any accusation ever could. Fans were split down the middle. One side praised the restraint, saying not every rumor deserves oxygen. The other side felt shut out, arguing that once speculation goes public, clarity becomes a responsibility, not a choice. And that's where the tension truly locked in. Because now, no matter what happens next, someone loses. If more details come out, they risk reigniting the fire. If nothing more is said, the silence becomes the story. Meanwhile, supporters of Claressa Shields continued to push back, insisting she had been dragged into a narrative she never participated in, while critics argued that public perception doesn't wait for permission. As for Papoose, his words now felt heavier than ever. What once sounded like calm clarifications suddenly felt incomplete. Not wrong, just unfinished. And that's the most dangerous place a story can live. Right now, the truth isn't confirmed. The rumors aren't dead. And the internet is still watching, closer than ever. Because one post, one interview, one unexpected response could either shut this down forever or blow it wide open. And until that moment comes, the question hangs in the air, unanswered and uncomfortable. Was this all just a misunderstanding? Or was the real story never meant to surface at all? Now it's your turn. Do you think Papoose said enough? Or did his silence say more than his words ever could? Was Claressa Shields unfairly pulled into a narrative that never belonged to her? Or is the internet reacting to something deeper it hasn't been told yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments, no holding back. Hit that like button if you believe this story isn't finished. Subscribe and turn on notifications because the next update could flip everything you think you know. This conversation is just getting started.